Welcome everybody back to the Robbins Racing YouTube channel here for round 5 of Robbins Racing's Touring Car Championship. We're here this evening at the Red Bull Ring and currently riding with Kembo76, one of our moderators on our Discord, regular commentator and lead coordinator for the GT5 Genetics and the Thursday Night Light Series. Good to have Kembo on the track here this evening. He's our 43-year-old from Johnstown in Pennsylvania, fell in love with pole position, originally back on the Ataris. He was third in the Robbins Racing's Touring Car Championship last season, pushed it all the way to the final round, had a chance of winning the championship going into the final race. Hasn't worked out quite that way so far this season, unfortunately, for Kembo. He's currently sat 11th in the standings on exactly 100 points. But let's see if Kembo has got something here in these, what we can see, rainy conditions by the looks of it. It's very, very cold day here in the Alps in Austria, or I think it's in the Alps, I'm not sure. But it looks very mountainous anyway. But here comes Kembo, and as you can see, driving very nicely in the wet conditions. Good, trying to find the dry line here in the early stages of this qualifying session. Thank you for joining us here live on the YouTube channel. Anyone interested in joining Robbins Racing, go to www.rubbingsracing.co.uk and register yourselves as drivers. So here we see Kembo staying off the curbs here. It's a wise move to make in these sorts of conditions. You really want to do those. That final turn can throw you off in the best of conditions, let alone these types of this type of weather. So let's see what Kembo's up to as he comes over the line. 1 minute 53 current benchmark. Looks like that might have been an outlap there from Kembo. We'll keep an eye on the others as they come over the line. Doesn't look like there's anyone too close behind him in the background. Let's have a look back through the field. Bobby Dazzler's coming up on some traffic just in front of him. Is that Uni Clark? No, it's not. Uni Clark is coming out of, wait, oh yeah, he is. Yep, so that was Uni Clark just in front of him. Uni Clark's coming into the last couple of corners. Looks like Grandad Stee and Lionsford have done lap times, but these might be, I'm pretty sure that these aren't representative times. They may have been, no, these are flying laps. So Demobi, top of the leaderboard so far, 151.5. What can Uni Clark do? He puts it P2, so good lap there from Uni Clark, our man from Swindon, runner-up in last season's RRTCC. Saw him do an excellent job, pushed Luke Bennett all the way, led the championship for much of last season as well. Currently, similar to Kembo, hasn't really had it go his way so far this season. Currently sat P7 in the standings on 128 points. But Uni Clark, let's see if he can get it going here in the wet conditions here this evening. Demobi currently sat top of the standings. Demobi is our championship leader. And I will mention here, right while we're on the stream now, Demobi does have, albeit a very long shot, he does have a chance of securing the championship here this evening. Now I'm sure that Smithy and the console will not want to let our German driver clinch it this early on with still a round to spare, especially in a 6-round season. But Demobi, with a commanding lead in the championship, could put it all to bed if he manages a 38-point swing to the console and a 25-point swing to Smithy. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Well, Smithy there commenting, he reckons that that will most likely happen, but we'll have to keep an eye. We're just hearing team radio. Smithy's actually on the pad here this evening, so this could be incredible development. Maybe if he finishes down the order, then this could give the championship here to Demobi. Here he comes out the last corner. Kembo set the benchmark, 1:43. That's his first flying lap of the session. Looks like Demobi's going to topple that and go even faster. Lightblade puts himself in the mix in P2 with a 1:42.2, so 0.8 of a second separating the top two at the moment. These guys, Demobi and Lightblade, seem to have it under their control at the moment, miles ahead of the rest of the pack. They've got 2 seconds to the next man, Uni Clark. Kembo just behind him on a 1:43.7. Looks like the console's put it third. He's got within a second of Demobi there. Alex has done a decent lap. Alex, one of the guys still with a chance of taking the RRTCC in its second season for 2020 season 1 here at Rubbings Racing. The console here has been a very consistent performer in the RRTCC in both sprint and feature races this season. He's our 25-year-old from Norwich, moderator on our Discord, owner of our Discord as well, as he goes a little bit wide there onto the curve, keeping it together though. It's actually snowing here at the Red Bull Ring now, so this snow should melt upon landing on the surface because it is above freezing, the track temperature. But this is going to throw an extra element and maybe make the surface just a little bit more slippery than it has been. So these guys, it looks like probably not going to improve on their lap times now with the conditions the way they are, but you never know. Some of these guys Very talented, very fast drivers, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Guitar Dude, in the meantime, has put himself P4. Lecky up to P5 currently in this session. There we go, Lecky coming into turn 3 now. Smithy's gone 6th position at the moment. Smithy 2nd in the championship, but we've heard an absolute bombshell announcement that he is on the pad for this evening, so that could potentially hamper his chances of keeping himself in this title battle here this season. Stealth Sheep is P7 at the moment. Stealth Sheep was a newcomer to the league halfway through this season, joined for round 3 at Brno and took the league by storm, took his first ever race in the RRTCC. That was a sprint at Brno, and he's not looked back since, currently running P7 in this qualifying session here. In fact, I think did he win the double? I think he might have done. Well, it's a double check, but no, he didn't. I didn't think he did. I didn't think he did. But anyway, Stealth Sheep over the line, and it can't make an improvement. It looks like these guys are not going to improve on their lap times. Heavy snow now falling here at Spielberg, and I don't think that there's going to be any changes here in the pecking order unless somebody can pull an absolute stunker out of the bag in the last minute of this session. Looks like it's as you are for the grid for the sprint race for round 5 of the RRTCC here at the Red Bull Ring. Thank you everybody for joining us live on our YouTube channel, and be sure to hit that sub, like and bell button. Don't forget to donate at www.rubbingsracing.co.uk, and if you want to join us, then go to www.rubbingsracing.co.uk and register as a driver. Get yourselves involved. The most authentic sim racing experience on the PlayStation 4 platform, without a doubt. You see Stealth Sheep coming up on some traffic there. That looks like it might be Bobby Dazzler there. Bobby Dazzler moving out of the way. It looks like he's given up on going quicker, and Stealth Sheep, ooh, as he hits the polystyrene, that's that one over with. So it looks like this is it for the quality session. Demobi currently on provisional pole, so he'll start at the front. Alongside him will be Lightblade. Then we'll have the console and that Guitar Dude lining up behind them. Lecky, Smithy, Stealth Sheep and Kembo. Then Uni Clark and Bobby Dazzler are going to round out the top 10. Grandad Steve, Thorsten Schmidt and Lionsfoot at the back of the field for this one. Big Al says the console's #1 fan here, go the console. So we're seeing a fan for Alex there in the chat. Alex has got some heaps of support. Alex obviously still with a chance of taking the championship here for the RRTCC. Obviously can't do it this evening. He has got a deficit which he needs to make up to Demobi, but he needs to minimise the gain from Demobi, or potentially eat into that lead here this evening. We'll have to keep an eye and see how this develops in the title battle here for our penultimate round for RubbingsRacing's Touring Car Championship. Very challenging conditions here this evening. It's going to be a tough test for all these guys to see how they handle it. And it looks like Lightblade and Lecky and Lionsfoot are all out on a lap time, but they're not going to improve on their current session best. The heavy snow here is going to compromise their ability. We're just hearing a team radio. Lionsfoot is actually a second up on his best time. So let's keep an eye on Lionsfoot and see if he can move himself up, maybe into the top 10 here in qualifying. Currently a second up on his personal best at the moment. Coming through the middle sector now, you can see that trail of snow behind that car. There's a little bit of snow settling now, not too much. The track temperature is just above freezing, so that snow is pretty sharpishly disintegrating. But here he comes into the final sector now. Lionsfoot coming down the hill into the penultimate corner. Is he going to throw it in? Is he going to take the risk, or is he just going to go with what he's got and try and get up a couple of positions here? Lionsfoot looks like a very conservative entry into the penultimate corner. He's going to throw it out of the last corner though and absolutely go for it. Foot to the floor. Here he comes, our Welsh driver from Swansea, Marshall, on our Discord. Can he put himself up in the top 10? Here he comes, Lionsfoot over the line. And it's not going to be enough. He's just a half a tenth of a second off of Thorsten Schmidt's time there. So it's going to be Demobi starting on pole, Lightblade alongside him, the console third, the Guitar Dude behind these guys. We're about to get going for the sprint race here for round 5 of the RRTCC here at the Red Bull Ring. Stay to go racing here for the feature race. We're expecting some interesting weather conditions to arise here in the sprint race here. Dry start for these guys, and we're underway. It looks like a nice start there from pole position from Demobi. Lightblade gets away nicely as well. The console on the outside gets away slightly better here No, that guitar dude here is going to find himself under pressure here. Looks like we've got someone going up right there inside there. Thorsten Smith, a little bit of contact there on the inside, just about avoids him. Thorsten Smith up into P5. Looks like Smithy's going past him here on the exit at the corner, and Lecky's going to follow him also. Looks like Lecky and Smithy up a couple of positions there. What's going on in the background? Looks like we've got Stealth Sheep looking to the outside here of Smithy. Thorsten is dropping him back here after an unbelievable start there. He's been passed by Kembo on the outside as well. So Kembo trying to get through the middle of these guys. So it looks like Demobi leads the field. Lightblade is following him around, not getting him away. We've got the console here just behind these guys. He's got that guitar dude right in his slipstream. That guitar dude absolutely pressuring the console like crazy here as they come down this long straight up towards turn 3. We've got in the background, looks like Lecky on the inside here. Smithy's going to go around the outside and hold the position by the looks of it. Lecky's going to want to fight back there. Stealth Sheep right behind these guys, looking to get involved, and Stealth Sheep's going to have them on the exit. Looks like Lecky gets a little bit loose, and that's going to allow Stealth Sheep to go past him, and also Grandad Steve's going to, Kembo and Grandad Steve look like they're going to follow these guys through as well. And in the background there, a little bit of a lock up there from Lecky. He's dropping places all the time. Uni Clark round the outside of Lecky. Terrible start there from our RTCC coordinator. It looks like some cones got wiped out there by Smithy, who we've heard is on the pad here this evening. So Smithy struggling so far in this first lap here for a sprint race. Thorsten's dropped way back after an unbelievable start. Lions and Bobby does the round off the pack at the end of the first lap. Demobi comes out of the last turn, and what a start from Demobi. He's absolutely run off into the distance here. He's got a 3-second lead already here, and it's only dry conditions at the moment. Lightblade there coming in round the final corner in the background. He's got the console in his mirrors, and it looks like Stealth Sheep looking to the inside of that guitar dude. Can he make a move here? Stealth Sheep on the inside, that guitar dude on the outside. Can he make a dive? It looks like he is. Stealth Sheep up into P4. That's one man down. He's got a 3 to go if he wants to win this race. But that guitar dude's going to get a lovely exit out of turn 1. He's going to pull alongside him, and he's got Kembo right behind these guys as well. So these guys are going to have to watch out here, because when they start battling, our American driver from Pennsylvania is going to be right there to capitalise. Let's see. That guitar dude on the inside. Stealth Sheep. Is he going to get pushed out, or is that guitar dude going to back off? It looks like that guitar dude in the end thinks better of that one. But Stealth Sheep gets very, very loose on the curb. A little bit of a lock up there. It looks like that guitar dude's going to pull up right back onto him again. No, he's maybe that Stealth Sheep with better acceleration out of turn 2 as they come down towards Gerster now, turn 3. And Stealth Sheep looks like he's got that move done. A little bit of a lock up there, but everything seems to have fallen into place there for him. So he has got the position. That guitar dude's going to have to watch out for Uni Clark, who's right there, not letting him get away with this one. And Kembo just stalking these guys, waiting for them to make a mistake, waiting to pounce here and get involved in this action on lap 2 of our sprint race here for RubbingsRacing's Touring Car Championship here this evening. So we see there in the foreground, it looks like Uni Clark has got ahead of that guitar dude. So battle for P5, it looks like Uni Clark's done him. And can he hold it around the outside? It looks like he will, and Kembo follows him through. So that guitar dude potentially with a penalty there, or a race director warning, is backed right off coming into the penultimate corner. So that has allowed Kembo and Uni Clark up a position as they come out of the last turn. Still very, very close quarters in the foreground there. Look at this. We've got a hell of a battle here for second place. Lightblade trying to fend off Stealth Sheep in the console. And he's looked to the inside, Stealth Sheep. Fantastic move from him. Fans, really brilliant. I mean, that was late on the brakes as you like. The console looks like it's going to follow him through. So the console up into P3. Lightblade dropping backwards here at the beginning of lap 3. He's got Uni Clark right behind him now. So Lightblade going to have to look out in his mirrors. He's not having this one easy, but he's going to make a dive here on the console. Very late on the brakes there, Lightblade. It looks like he's going to hold it. Brilliant there. But the console's going to get a nice exit here out of turn 2 and maybe go for the slipstream effect. He's going to have the slipstream here of Uni Clark Stealth Sheep up in front of him. So definitely with a straight line speed advantage here, the console. It's going to go side by side here into Gerster. It looks like Lightblade's going to be late on the brakes again. Still side by side. Lightblade with the position, but the console's going to have better exit here coming out of here. But it looks like he might not be alongside him, or is he? It looks like they're still side by side. Coming into Louder Curve, and the console holding it on the inside of Lightblade and just about pushing him out there. Lightblade onto the curb. Can Uni Clark get involved in this little battle? He is going to get involved in this little battle. Uni Clark up into P4. Lightblade gets pushed out a little bit. He's going to stay on the inside here of Uni Clark. But it looks like the console there, the big winner in that little scrap. And Uni Clark there just trying to get his nose in. And in the meantime here, Kembo doing what Kembo does best. Just waiting for his move as we go 3 wide into the penultimate corner of the console, and Lightbait there with a little bit of contact. Lightbait holding it on the inside. Oh my goodness, 4 cars in a line there, and it looks like Kembo's made the most of that. As we always say about Kembo, he watches and studies the lines of other drivers, and when the movement is right, he goes for it. Our man from Pennsylvania absolutely capitalising on these guys battling it out. It looks like Lightbait's come out on top in all of this one. The console's still right up his chuff here, and in the background there, that Qatar Uni Clark very, very close to them. It looks like Grandad Stee and Lionsfoot closing in on these guys as well. So these guys not really helping each other out at all. They're all sort of screwing each other over in a way, battling each other. And in the meantime, the rest of the pack are only going to close in on them. Meanwhile, race leader Demobi, 9 seconds is his gap out of the front. We know the Red Bull Ring is one of his favourite tracks on Project Cars. We also know that he's got a score to settle around this track, Demobi. GT3 Championship just under a month ago, he was leading the race up until the final lap where his wheel disconnected. So he's got unfinished business with the Red Bull Ring, has Demobi, in the RubbingsRacing League. He will be absolutely desperate to make up for that one, and he's truly showing his intent here with a massive lead on the 4th lap here of this race. Almost 10 seconds now he has got to Stealth Sheep. Phenomenal job so far from our Bavarian driver, and hats off to him. He's absolutely flying around this track. Let's hope he can keep this up when snow comes here in this race. We're expecting snow at some point in this race. Whether or not it comes, well, we'll have to wait and see, but we're expecting it anyway. But in the meantime, Uni Clark here has managed to get past Lightblade on the console, and they're going to go side by side, and they're absolutely line of stone here as they come out of the final corner. It looks like in the background there we've got that Grandad Stee looking to the inside here of that Guitar Dude side by side. And can Grandad Stee make a move here going into the first corner? It looks like that Guitar Dude's got it on the outside, but is he going to go for a dive here? He is going to go for a dive. Grandad Stee up into P8, but he's going to go very, very wide there, and that Guitar Dude's going to get a nice exit there coming out of the last turn. Grandad Stee got a little bit sideways on the exit, and that allowed that Guitar Dude to capitalise. And in the meantime, the console has had a wobble coming through the first corner. He's going to drop places here. It looks like that Guitar Dude's going to make the most of it. Can Grandad Stee also capitalise on Alex's woes here? It looks like he's not quite close enough, so Alex drops down to P7. Didn't see what happened there. In the meantime, Kembo absolutely flying away from these guys. We saw he was waiting behind them for a few laps and then made his move, and he's now put a fair bit of distance between himself, Uni Clark, Lightblade, that Guitar Dude in the console, and Grandad Stee. So the Kembo here seems to have a command of these tricky cold conditions here in Austria this evening. Brilliant driving here from Kembo. Looks like he's got 4 seconds of a gap to our man in P2, Stealth Sheep, who in turn isn't losing quite as much time to our race leader Demobi as he was at the start. So Stealth Sheep best of the rest. Kembo doing a good job, and looks like no one here is able to cope with the pace here of Demobi. Championship leader, could he be the champion of the RRTCC this evening? We know he needs a 20 or a 35 point swing to Smithy if he wants to take the championship this evening. He needs less of a swing to the console. I believe it's definitely less. We'll have to work that out in a bit, but I believe he needs a 25 point swing to the console, and he needs a 38 point swing to no, other way around. He's 38 to Smithy. He needs 25 swing to the console. We'll keep an eye on that at the moment. But Demobi, yes, 25 to Smithy. So it's looking like Demobi could potentially wrap up the championship here at the penultimate round of the season. We don't want to see that at the end of the day. We'd rather see it go to the final round, but we'll see anyway. Demobi absolutely controlling things as it stands at the moment. Our Bavarian championship leader, and we know, as I said earlier, unfinished business around this track in the RubbingsRacing League. Meantime, Lightblade here trying to fend off that Guitar Dude, and the console's dropped way back here. Alex has had an absolute mare in the last couple of laps. He's dropped down to P9. He was from P6 a couple of laps ago. This has not gone well here for our man from Norwich, and here we go. We've got Lightblade. Looks like he's pulled out a bit to that Guitar Dude, but he has got his moves absolutely forced. We see that big lock up there from that Guitar Dude. He's now got Grandad Stee getting ever larger in his moves, and they're going to go side by side here, coming out of Gerster up towards Louder Curve. It looks like they're very, very close here. Is that Guitar Dude going to stay on the inside, or is Grandad Stee going to pull out the gap? It looks like Grandad Stee very, very late on the brakes there, and that's going to potentially compromise his run through Bergen. No, it looks like he's all right here. That Lionsfoot's looking to the inside now of that Guitar Dude. Thought better of that one. Thought maybe if he needed back out there, that would have been contact. So solid driving there from our Welshman getting out of it when he needed to. He's going to go again and pull alongside that guitar dude here as they come in towards the last couple of corners now under the Worth Bridge. And that guitar dude doing a good job here of fending off Scotty. Scotty's looked to the inside, but once again, good defending there from that guitar dude. Not a great exit out of that turn though. Scotty's going to pull alongside towards the pit straight over the line here. Looks like Scotty's got him as they halfway down the straight here. Can that guitar dude fight into the first turn? They're side by side. That guitar dude just ahead, I think, under braking, but Scotty's going to have the inside. And again, as close as you like here between these guys, wheel to wheel, but very, very clean racing. It looks like Scotty's still on the inside, still not letting that guitar dude get away with this. Now, Console watching this unfold in front of him, and ladies and gentlemen, we have got snow falling here. So lap 7 of 10 in our sprint race, and finally the snow that was promised before the start of the race has been delivered. The snow gods have finally come along and decided to wreak havoc upon the Red Bull Ring here this evening. It looks like the guys who put the wet tyres on at the start of this race are going to benefit enormously from this. So we're hearing that Smithy started on the wet tyres. He's down in P11 at the moment, but he will gain absolutely masses on these guys as these guys start to struggle with reduced grip here, and we can see that Telter is coming down rapidly. Moby brings it into the pits. Our race, and there's contact between Linesfoot and the Console. What happened there? Looks like that's just those guys trying to get to grips with the conditions as they came through Berger. It looks like one of them got sideways and just ploughed into the other. So that's a yellow flag, but it looks like they got it going again in the background. You can see here Smithy and Bobby Dazzler absolutely homing in on these guys now. These guys started on the wet tyres and they're reaping the benefits to the maximum. Right here, you can see Smithy cutting the corner on the entry to the penultimate corner there. He will get a warning from the race director for that. I'm sure he won't care too much. He's absolutely reeling these guys in. He didn't get a penalty, so fair enough. Great stuff. Interested. Right, Kembo inherits the race lead, but he is on dry tyres, I'm pretty sure. 3 seconds he's got to Uniclark. The gap to Smithy in P8, 18 seconds. Oh, Kembo spun! Almost spun. Half spin there, almost. He just about held it together. But in the background there, Uniclark definitely closing in on him. We know these guys definitely on the dry tyres. I can't imagine they were on the wets with the pace that they had in the full dry conditions. So it's interesting now to see what decision these guys make. Are they going to change to it? Oh, Kembo runs off onto the gravel trap. Disaster there for our American. Uniclark's going to inherit the lead, but Uniclark's struggling as well by the looks of it. None of these guys really that confident with the dry tyres on in these types of conditions. And we see Uniclark into the wall, sends some polystyrene going absolutely flying. Oh no! What's going on in the background? It looks like, was that Kembo losing it again? Oh, Grandad Stee off onto the gravel. This is absolute carnage here in this sprint race here for round 5 of our TCC. Looks like Grandad Stee's struggling to get it back on the track again. He uses the escape road to get back as soon as he can. But these guys, we're all over the place here. Lightblade now with the lead of the race. What tyres did Lightblade start on? Can he have a chance here? It sounds like Lightblade. We're in a team radio. Lightblade on the wet tyres finds himself in a fantastic position in this race. He's got that guitar dude not very far behind him though as they come down the pit straight. Not much to separate these guys at all. Looks like that guitar dude likewise went on the wet tyres because that pace he's got looks very strong. Very, very confident in these conditions. We got a few pit crews out in the pit lane here getting ready to receive these guys. Uniclark and Kembo both into the pits. So this has not gone very well at all for these guys. It looks like the Console must have started on the wets. He's 6 seconds down the road from these guys. Can he home them in the last couple of laps? Considering they're on the same tyres, it's going to be a hell of a job if the Console can do that. I think it might be beyond him. Even a good driver like Alex is not going to reel in 6 seconds in a lap and a half. It's just not possible. But I'm willing to be proved wrong, and I'll be very happy to be proved wrong anyway. But it looks like Demoby's gamble to do the full race on the dry tyres and extend his championship lead has not paid off at all. He finds himself now 15 seconds off of the race lead with a lap and a half to go. So that will explain the absolute mega pace that we saw from our German driver in the opening few laps. He was starting on the dry tyres, made a gamble, hoped that the snow that we've been promised all week for the whole week wouldn't come, but it did come. and it's worked out very nicely for Lightblade here. He finds himself in the lead of the race, and let's see what Nakatari's doing. Nakatari's still right up his chuff. We're about to start the final lap. We're just coming through the final couple of corners of our penultimate lap now here for round 5 of the RRTCC sprint race here. What a race this has been. We thought that snow might never come, but it did come, and when it did, it hit these guys' faces like an absolute train. Here we come out of the last turn, over the line to start the final lap. Just a lap to go here in this sprint race. Lightblade, can he hold on, or is that Nakatari going to pile on the pressure and put his car in front of Lightblade's? We'll have to wait and see as they come into turn 1 very, very close. Just half a second separating these guys. It looks like Nakatari not able to close that much. Looks like Lightblade had a better turn 1. So Nakatari's going to slot beautifully into the slipstream here. The console not making too much of an impression in the background there. It looks like Smithy has been passed by Demobi here. Around the outside of turn 1. There we go. They're championship leaders and second place in the championship going side by side. And Demobi gets the better of that little scrap. Can Smithy fight back here coming up the hill into turn 2? Be interesting if Smithy's going to risk it. He knows that he needs to stop Demobi from gaining too many points in the championship. But he thinks better of that one. Demobi looks like he's up into P4. ALR 2 leaders, Lightblade and Nakatari. Nothing to separate them on the road. We've got half a lap to go here in this sprint race. Can Lightblade hold on, or is Nakatari going to upset the odds here in the final knockings here of the sprint race? It looks like Lightblade are with an inspired call. Likewise Nakatari to put the wet tyres on for the start of the race. And in these conditions, with the snow being how it is, obviously the track temperature is well above freezing, but the air temperature more or less freezing, and what that creates is an effect where you've got the snow immediately turning into standing water as soon as it hits the surface. The wet tyres absolutely primed for these types of conditions. But into the final couple of turns now, it looks like Lightblade's done enough. Here he comes now out of the final corner. Fantastic call from Lightblade and his mechanics to put the wet tyres on at the start of this race, and he's going to take the victory here in the sprint race. Nakatari follows him home in second. The console will complete the podium here in third place. Demobi, the championship leader, is going to extend his advantage at the top to Smithy, and it looks like the console is going to eat into Demobi's lead very slightly, but at this stage it's not going to be enough if he wants to make a proper inroads here in the race for the title. It looks like advantage Demobi here so far in round 5 of the RRTCC. So Lightblade takes the win. Nakatari, the console, Demobi, Smithy. Bobby Dazzler brings it home in 6th. Lecky over the line in 7th. Looks like Self Sheep's just coming over the line now in 8th place. Then Uni Clark is going to come round in P9, avoiding the puddles on the inside there. And Thorsten is not too far behind him in the BMW. Solid top 10 in the BMW for Thorsten. Kenbo, after a good start to this race, ended up going off the track a couple of times. A few excursions we saw himself and Uni Clark, and he's going to come around in P11 here. Disappointing for Kenbo. Lion's Foot, likewise, similar situation, and Grandad Stee, same thing with him, but looks like he had to pit twice. So Grandad Stee's completes the classification. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. We're going to take a quick break, 5 minutes or so, and we're going to start our second qualifying session for the feature race, and the feature race will follow very shortly afterwards. We'll see you guys very, very shortly. Yeah, I turned it off. Welcome back everybody to feature race qualifying here for round 5 of RubbingsRacing's Touring Car Championship. Currently riding with Demobi, championship leader, currently P5 in the standings. He's coming over the line, and that is our fastest lap there from Demobi. Quickest lap of the session so far, 1:41.1. Currently sat second in qualifying is Lecky, the coordinator of the RRTCC and moderator on RubbingsRacing's Discord. Currently we've got Stealth Sheep putting his name up at the top of the standings. Off of Demobi's time. Let's have a look down the order and see who we haven't talked about so far this evening. Thorsten Schmidt. Let's talk about Thorsten Schmidt. So Thorsten is our 30-year-old from Berlin. He loves the GT3 class more than any others. Is Thorsten in the BMW. He loves GT3s most out of all of the cars on Project Cars 2. He's been sim racing for around 5 years now. Recently joined RubbingsRacing just in the new year. and he's a big fan of GTEs, GT4s and the touring cars obviously as well. Loves tight clean racing as a regular in the touring cars and a regular in the GT3s. He was actually a regular in the Clio Cup before getting called up to the touring cars after impressing in his first couple of races in the Clios. Good to have Thorsten with us driving the BMW. So a bit of a challenge here. He's the only BMW in a field dominated by the Renault Meganes. So good luck to Thorsten here, and it's even that golfing class between the two cars is made even more challenging by these wet conditions. So I just want to say hats off to Thorsten for giving himself a challenge and giving us all the the show here this evening. What's going on at the front of the pack? Demobi currently fastest, but Lightblade's done a good lap time, and Kembo has gone quickest of anybody. Our American from Pennsylvania puts it on pole, but Demobi responds immediately, half a second quicker. Demobi goes, so Kembo's going to have to get that car out of the pit garage as soon as possible if he wants to get pole position again. It looks like Lightblade's out there on a lap at the moment. Lightblade's just coming into the final couple of turns now. The track is going to get, oh well, they've got snow now, so the track's going to get probably a little bit worse now. But is the track conditions better now than it was a couple of moments ago when we had the track drying out from the rain that we had at the start of the session? That's a bit of a mouthful, but essentially the track may be better now than it was earlier. Lightblade over the line, and it looks like the track conditions have worsened. Lightblade not able to improve at the moment. Who else is out there on the lap? Stealth Sheep's out there. Looks like the consoles coming through the straight up between turns 1 and 2 now. Stealth Sheep's coming about turn 3, so we've got Bobby Dazzler. Where's Bobby Dazzler at? Bobby Dazzler's coming into the last couple of turns now. Can he do anything to put himself up into maybe the top 5 or the top 3 possibly? Here he comes, not too much curb on the exit of the final corner in the foreground. That is Grandad Steele coming over the line. What can he do? Not an improvement. Can Bobby Dazzler go 1 better or 3 better or 3 better? No, he can't. Bobby Dazzler stays P7. It's all down to Lightblade, Demobi, Stealth Sheep or the console to see who can get pole. We've just over a minute left here in the qualifying session for the feature race for the RRTCC this evening. That's Demobi doing. He's just coming into the final 2 turns now. This will be an idea of what the times are currently in this session. Is the track gets a lot worse as we come into the end of it. It looks like there's a graphic error there, but Demobi's going to come over the line. I don't think this is going to be an improvement. I think that the track is well and truly done for. Here he comes. Yep, no more improvements in this session by the looks of it. So got Demobi on pole position currently. Kembo, what a lap there from our American. Puts it on the front row provisionally. We've got Lightblade and Stealth Sheep P3, P4, and then the console and Lecky on row 3 at the moment. But still 30 seconds left to go in this session. It doesn't look like we're going to get any improvements here. It looks like the track, well, we've got heavy snow here falling in, at the Red Bull Ring, so I doubt very much that we're going to see any changes here in the latter stages of this session. 20 seconds to go in the qualifying session. Let us know in the comments who you think is going to get pole position, who's going to win the race, who's your favourite for the championship at the moment. Demobi's looking very good, but having said that, the console took a couple of points out of him in the sprint race. But I think Demobi would have got the extra point for pole position and maybe the fastest lap as well. And also he'll get a bonus point for pole position in this one. So at the moment, Demobi looking like he's in the box seat here for taking the title. It probably won't be this week, it may be next week. So stay tuned for that. Next week, the final round of the Touring Car Championship will be at Zolder in Belgium. So make sure you tune in for that as well. But at the moment, it's all about here and now, here at the Red Bull Ring. Demobi coming into under the Worth Bridge and into the last couple of turns. But I don't think it's going to be an improvement for our championship leader, and he somewhat aggressively throws it into the wall there. So Lightblade's still out there at the moment, but Lightblade doesn't look like he's going to improve. Yeah, Lightblade is just coming through Berger now, actually, by the looks of it. So Lightblade is our 35-year-old from Swansea in Wales. He likes to race and loves all things motor. He's a big fan of Formula 1, Moto and WRC and touring cars as well. Races in a lot of sim racing leagues. Is well known on project cars too. Very, very quick, very talented driver, and currently sat P3 in qualifying here for our feature race. He comes out of the last turn. It's not going to be an improvement though, because the track definitely a lot worse than it was at the beginning of this session. So Lightblade over the line. It's going to be Demobi starting on pole once again for the feature race here. Kembo alongside him, Lightblade and Stealth Sheep. Stay tuned, guys. for the feature race. It's going to start in a couple of minutes' time.
Shut up. Is anybody going to start on dries this time, or everyone going to go on wets?
He's very glad that he retired from the touring cars. Looking at the challenging conditions here this evening, Tuggy, I don't blame you. Ollie Marseille says, "Let's go, lads." JR Sim Racing says a very nice compliment to me. Disco McDisco Face says, "Good job, Demoby. He's going to crush it here." So it looks like Demoby's got a fan in the chat. Disco McDisco Face saying his support is fully for our Bavarian here in this feature race this evening. Looks like he's done the job here very nicely. Demoby took the sprint race pole position, then unfortunately was victim of the snowfall here that we had in the sprint race and dropped all the way back down to 6th. So his championship lead would have been eaten into a little bit by the console, who finished ahead of him on the track. But looks like I'll be hoping to get that sorted out in the feature. We're expecting some changeable weather conditions once again here for this one. So anything can happen here in this feature race. You just don't know what's around the corner. Demoby on pole, Kembo alongside him, Lightblade Stealth Sheep. Just be aware, guys, that if you are interested in joining RubbingsRacing, go to www.rubbingsracing.co.uk, get yourselves involved in our leagues, and be sure to join us live on YouTube for all of our races this week. We're going to be live on 8 PM GMT on Thursday, Friday and Saturday for the Thursday Night Lights, the GT5 Ginettas. We're not going to be on Saturday, that's not broadcast at the moment, so Sunday will be the next one after Friday, and that'll be the GT3 Championship, also 8 PM GMT. Join us for all of our nights live on YouTube. Definitely get involved. And we're about to go racing here for the feature race.
Steve.
Yeah.
How's it feel to finish starting last?
Here we go, and the lights are out and we're underway. It looks like Thorsten Schmidt gets his usual fantastic start off the line. He's already gained about 6 places, I'm sure. No, he's not actually. It looks like Demoby leads into the first corner, and we've got Kembo around the outside here of Lightblade as to go through turn 1. Looks like they're side by side. Lightblade just about holds it, but it looks like Kembo's really pushing him as they come out of this turn. The console here looking very, very feisty on the outside. Looks like he's going to go try on the outside here of Kembo. Is he going to go too wide here into turn 2? It looks like Stealth Sheep here attacking behind them. Lecky in 6th place. And we've got Bobby Dazzler, Smithy, Uniclark, Lacataru, Grandad, Steve Linesfoot and Thorsten. What has happened to Thorsten? We're so used to seeing that BMW absolutely take off the line, but it's not done so this time around. Demoby leads the field. We've got Lightblade in his slipstream, already dropping back though a second. He's got a lead already here. The console and Kembo are going to go too wide into Gersa, and it looks like the console's going to try and hold it around the outside, but Kembo very late on the brakes there, and looks like he's going to push him out a little bit, but in the end Kembo having to sacrifice that position. Lecky's looking to the inside here, and Lecky's going to make it 3 wide here as they come up towards the outer curve. Lecky up 2 positions in one corner, but it looks like Stealth Sheep's going to look to the inside here. Is he going to hold it around the outside, Lecky, or is Stealth Sheep going to put it back up the inside? Looks like Lecky's got it for the time being. In the background, oh, contact there, contact between Kembo and Smithy. That was just a case of Kembo getting loose on the curb and running into Smithy. Kembo couldn't do anything. Smithy, an unfortunate victim, nowhere to go there. Unfortunate for Smithy, unfortunate for Kembo getting loose on the curb there. Nothing you can do about that. That stuff happens in racing. The same thing happened to me on Friday night in the Ginettas. So those guys dropped to the back of the pack. Currently, Demoby leading the field by 1.5 seconds at the moment to Lightblade. Looks like we've got Console trying to defend here. Lecky absolutely on a charge here at the start of this race. He's up about 3 places, I believe, from where he, well, no, from the first corner drop. But here we go. So right behind the Console, slipstream is going to be at a premium here as they come down this long straight between turn 1 and 2. And Lecky drifting onto the grass there a little bit, maybe a lapse of concentration, but he's looking to the outside here. Console is going to go very defensive as they come into turn 2. It looks like Lecky's going to have to go around the long way for what's going to get done, but he's going to have to undercut him and try on the exit. But the Console very, very wisely parking his car in all the right places. And it looks like that's going to maybe, well, it looks like Lecky's still got a fantastic run. He's going to go side by side. Lecky looks like he's got on the inside here coming into Gersa, and he's got his car just in front as well. So a nice race in between these two moderators here on our Discord. It looks like Lecky's up the inside, up into P3, but the Console's not going to let this go. He's not going to be happy about that. Alex is going to want this position. This is a battle for pride. This is a battle of the moderators here. And Alex pulls to the outside. Lecky a little bit of a lock up on the inside. Takes a little bit of grass and the curb with him. And Alex is going to get a lovely run here. But it looks like Lecky for now has got his car parked in the right places. Alex is going to see that back of that car. He's going to want that more than anything here as these guys stay off the curbs. Alex, a little bit of a twitch there coming through that corner, but it looks like he's got it together. Lecky under the worst bridge, Console in hot pursuit, and in the meantime Uniclark's absolutely closing in on these guys as well. Lecky brings it in for the mandatory stop. We've got snow falling here at the Red Bull Ring, so this is going to throw an extra spice into this one, because we have got changeable conditions. Once again, it looks like the Console's got a wobble out of the last turn, and that's going to allow Uniclark, no, Stealth Sheep, sorry, no, Uniclark up into P1, so it looks like we've got a lot of guys into the pits here. Lightbait, Demobi, Lecky and Smithy all bring it in for their mandatory stop. We've got Uniclark here trying to fend off the Console as they come up towards this long straight. It looks like Bobby Dazzler's in tow as well. Stealth Sheep not too far behind these guys. Stealth Sheep is going to watch this unfold and hope to get involved in this action when these guys eventually slow each other down, as we see Uniclark trying to hold on the inside here, but the Console looking very aggressive here on the outside. He's going to try the undercut here and try and get a better exit out of turn 2. Looks like we're going to go racing here up the long straight towards Gersa, and at the moment Uniclark's got the position, but the Console is on the warpath here. Is he going to look to the inside? Is Uniclark going to leave the door wide open? Yes, he is. The Console goes for it, and it looks like he's going to pull it off. The Console there with a late opportunistic braking manoeuvre, but he's going to get a little bit loose there on the exit. They're going to go side by side, arming up towards the louder curve, and it looks like Uniclark might have the position here on the inside, just about, but the Console's still there, still letting him know he wants the position. Console in the end has to tuck in to avoid being overtaken there by Bobby Dazzler, who's looking very aggressive here right behind these guys. And in the meantime, as we said, Stealth Sheep just watching this unfold and patiently hanging around there. Ollie Marseille says, yes, Lek. We've got a Lecky fan in the chat here. Ollie Marseille confessing his support here for our coordinator of the league. At the moment, it looks like Lecky 46 seconds off the pace, having made his mandatory pit stop for the wet tyres. And we've got some more guys into the pits. Uniclark bringing it in at the end of lap 3 here. So race leader Uniclark's in. It looks like Console's going to inherit the lead, but Bobby Dazzler is going to try around the outside of the final corner, and he's got the move. So Bobby Dazzler up into P1 as they come down the pit straight. It looks like Uniclark there coming into the box. So can Bobby Dazzler hold it on the outside, or is Console going on the inside? Yes, he is. And it looks like Stealth Sheep's going to try and get involved as well. Bobby Dazzler almost down 2 places there, just about holds on from Stealth Sheep, but Console is up into P1 there, and Bobby Dazzler pushed out. He's going to have the slipstream though, coming up towards turn 2. Alex is going to have to be wary of Bobby Dazzler in the mirrors here. He's going to go very defensive here, coming up into Remus. And looks like the Console's got it, but Bobby Dazzler very late on the brakes. Can he hold it? No, he can't. Bobby Dazzler very wide. That allows the Console. And Bobby Dazzler almost loses the car. A little bit of a half spin there from Bobby Dazzler. Just about holds it together. Looks like Bobby Dazzler in the wars here in the feature race. He's now going to have Lionsfoot and Nakatadi to worry about in his mirrors. Also, Grandad Steve in hot pursuit behind these guys. Stealth Sheep has got past the Console. The Console's had the lead about 5 times in this race, and every time he's been overtaken, he's got just behind Stealth Sheep now. And the Console's had a moment here. What's happened? He's dropped back to 3rd place. Oh no! He's back in now in 5th position. Unfortunate there for the Console. He's going to have that Katarian and Grandad Steve passing him as well. Stealth Sheep's up into the lead. 4 seconds he's got of a gap to Bobby Dazzler. Bobby Dazzler must have got caught up in an instant there with the Console. I can't believe that those two had 2 independent incidents. But Stealth Sheep finds himself with a 4-second lead here to Bobby Dazzler at the moment. Nakatari is also breathing down the neck of the Bobby Dazzler here. When are these guys going to come into the pits? Do they need to come into the pits? I do not appreciate people calling me when I'm commentating. It's very rude. So Stealth Sheep leading the race at the moment. 5 seconds. He's pulling out the gap. Stealth Sheep was quicker the last time around than Bobby Dazzler by about a second. Let's see what the split times are this time around here. Stealth Sheep comes round to complete lap 4 of 15 here for the feature race. Mandatory pit stop. Changeable conditions here in this one. It'll be fascinating to see how this one plays out. But Stealth Sheep at the moment showing a fantastic command of these conditions. Having said that though, no, hold on. Yes, so Stealth Sheep 2 seconds quicker than our man in P2, that guitar dude, on that last lap. He's absolutely flying. Jeff really has got a command of these snowy conditions here for our feature race here. Flaky says snow, really? Yes, Flaky. Looks like when you run a race in February on Project Cars in the mountains, you're going to get some quite tasty conditions, and that's what we're seeing here at the moment. We've got heavy snow and very, very slippery, icy conditions for these guys to have to contend with. And Stealth Sheep showing that he's more than up to the challenge at the moment. He's running off into the sunset, or should I say the, well, it's definitely not sunset, that's not the right word. I'll try and think of a better alternative while the race continues. But that guitar dude not able to cope with the pace of Stealth Sheep at the moment. He's 8 seconds adrift, and Thorsten Smith has put himself up into a podium place, albeit having not made a pit stop at the moment. There's mandatory pit stop in this race, so anyone who started on the wet tyres was missing a trick, because there's a mandatory pit stop anyway. You might as well start on the tyres that we had at the start of the race, which was the dry tyres. The conditions absolutely tailored to the dry tyres at the start of the race. If you're on the dry tyres now, you are in trouble, because these snowy conditions, the snow is going to melt upon landing on the surface here. The track temperature just above freezing, so pretty much as soon as the snow drops, it's going to melt, which means that we're going to have a lot of standing water. It's going to essentially be full wet conditions here, and looks like at the moment Stealth Sheep not putting out as much as we saw in previous laps. Let's keep an eye on that guitar dude as he comes over the line to see what the split time is. The Stealth Sheep with a 43.9 last time around, and that guitar dude, well, 2.5 seconds slower. So there is your answer. Stealth Sheep absolutely flying at the moment. Thorsten Schmidt's going to find himself open to an attack here from Demoby. Demoby's right up his chuff as we come into the penultimate corner and now into the final corner. And that BMW is doing a brilliant job. Well, he's doing a brilliant job of keeping that BMW in a straight line. I don't know how he's doing it, but he's going to go defensive here down the pit straight. Demoby's going to pull to the outside. They're going to go side by side. It looks like the McGann's going to have better grip on the braking, but at the moment BMWs have a fantastic straight line speed. Demoby's going to drive clean around the outside of him and up into P3. Not too much of an incident there, but I think Demoby had a slowdown penalty for running wide on the exit, and he's going to have to allow Thorsten to retake the position, albeit briefly. I'm sure he'll want to get that position back as soon as he can. They go side by side into Remus, and at the moment Thorsten has the inside, but Demoby's going to try the undercut, and very nicely done there from Demoby. Not too much fuss, not too much care, just did the job, waited for Thorsten to go late on the brakes, and then just drove around him on the inside. Good driving there from both of those guys. In the background, lost Lightblade doing. Lightblade's got a penalty according to my race director screen. He is 6 seconds off of Thorsten at the moment. He's closing in on that gap. Last time around, Lightblade 4 seconds faster than Thorsten, and only bettered on that last time by Demoby. In fact, Demoby and Lightblade both lapping faster than our race leader Stealth Sheep. So we'll have to keep an eye on this as it develops. It looks like these guys are closing in on Stealth Sheep, but again, you know, it's difficult to know at this stage in the race what to expect at Stealth Sheep. I think he still has to come in for his mandatory. He did start on the wet tyres, so Stealth Sheep, well, he must have done, at least I think. We'll have to get news on that. Yeah, so Stealth Sheep started on wets. He's still on the wets. He hasn't pitted. So Stealth Sheep kind of got the jump on these guys with the strategy call. Knew that had an idea that the snow would be coming very, very soon. Ultimately, didn't drop as much time as he thought, as the others thought they would drop. And it looks like he's found himself in a great position here so far in this one. He will be coming into the pits at some point in this race. He doesn't need to change tyres because he's already on the right tyres. So it should be pretty much an in and out job here for Stealth Sheep. We'll keep an eye on this as it develops. Currently, he's got 25 seconds to Demoby and 32 to Lightblade, but these guys both closing that gap. A pit stop around here is about 25 seconds, so Stealth Sheep and Demoby, it's going to be very close, guys. It's going to be very tight once Stealth Sheep makes his mandatory stop. It's going to be a fascinating second half to this feature race here. Stay tuned here at Rubbings Racing on the Rubbings Racing channel for round 5 of this Rubbings Racing Touring Car Championship feature race here at the Red Bull Ring. It's going to be a hell of a finish to this one. Demoby currently closing the gap. Last time around, 5 seconds quicker than Stealth Sheep, so Stealth Sheep must have had an incident at some point during that lap, because he has dropped absolutely bags of time here so far. As we see, he's coming in for his mandatory stop right about now. So is he going to get it slowed down sufficiently, or is he going to make a mistake? It looks like he's done it brilliantly there. So Stealth Sheep very, very calm and collected as he brings it in. That guitar dude would assume the race lead here, and Demoby is coming up towards the Worth Bridge now. Currently 17 seconds off of our race leader. Let's see where he comes out in relation to Stealth Sheep. Let's ride on board with Stealth Sheep, actually, see what he's seeing. It looks like he's in the box at the moment, and he's just exiting the box now. Where is Demoby? Demoby's coming out of the last corner now. It's going to be close, guys. Stealth Sheep's coming up to the exit of the pit lane. Oh, here comes Demoby. He's coming over the line right about now. Stealth Sheep on the exit of the pits. It's going to be a drag up towards the first corner. It looks like Stealth Sheep's going to come out ahead of him, but Stealth Sheep's going to have to negotiate a very tight pit exit. Demobi's coming out of the first corner now. It looks like Stealth Sheep's just about got him, but Demobi in hot pursuit. This is going to be a fascinating end here to the feature race. We're on lap 8. We've got 7 laps to go here. In this one, we're just over half distance, and you can see Stealth Sheep right in front now of Demobi. Demobi looking to the outside there, very late on the brakes, not able to get past him. Stealth Sheep's going to hold it on the exit, so they're going to go racing here now down towards Gersa, and bumper to bumper. We're going to go side by side maybe. Looks like Demobi's going to look to the inside. Stealth Sheep leaving the door wide open on the right hand side. Looks like Demobi's not going to be tempted into the bait at the moment. Hey, he is though. Look at that. Looks like Demobi's very late on the brakes. Stealth Sheep, can he undercut him? Demobi running very, very wide, almost off onto the curve and onto the grass. It looks like Stealth Sheep's going to get a nicer run here up towards Louder Curve. They're going to go side by side once again. Looks like Demobi's going to have the inside line. And who's going to be later on the brakes? It looks like Demobi holds it on the inside. Good move there from Demobi. Made it stick. It looked like he'd overshot it coming through Gersa, but in the end just about kept it together. And Demobi now has the net race lead. Once that Gottardo brings it in for his mandatory stop, we will see Demobi and Stealth Sheep fighting this one out, but it looks like Stealth Sheep's not got the pace here to stay with Demobi at the moment. Demobi just seems to have a command of these wet conditions, so Stealth Sheep might have to watch out for Lightblade, because Lightblade will be closing that gap. He's been lapping very, very quickly as Lightblade. Did a 1:43 flat last time around. So come out of the last turn now. Demobi with the race lead. Championship leader will extend his advantage with a win here in the feature race this evening. He's absolutely driven perfectly near enough this season in the Touring Car Championship. Couple of blips in the feature race at Brno being one of them, and the sprint race tonight being the other. But he's definitely trying to make up for that. Demobi, as I mentioned earlier this evening, has a bit of a score to settle with the Red Bull Ring. His Will actually managed to fail in the GT3 race, the season opener that we had in January. So he will be looking to make up for that. It was actually leading the race up until the last lap when his Will gave way and decided not to work. So Demobi, I'm sure, will have nightmares about that one and want to put that right here in this one. Currently with a net race lead, he's pulling out the gap here to Stealth Sheep now. He's just under 2 seconds ahead of Jeff on the track. So at the moment, Demobi in the box seat here for the win, but anything can happen here in this feature race. We've got just over, in fact we've got 6 laps left to go in this one at the moment. What's Lightblade doing? It looks like Lightblade not closing on Stealth Sheep as much as he was previous laps. It looks like Lightblade last time around struggled a little bit, 1:45, so Demobi going a lot faster than Lightblade at this stage in the race, actually 3 seconds quicker last time around. Lightblade, for whatever reason, struggling a little bit. Maybe he had some traffic in front of him, maybe there was some problems, or hit a puddle maybe. Lots of standing water here from the snow that's been falling, but the snow has stopped. We have got clear weather now, or overcast weather should I say, so the threat's still there, but it looks like at the moment we've got dry conditions. The track will be drying up and they're getting faster and faster as the race comes to a close. Are these guys going to risk changing to dry tyres at the end of this race? The track temperature very, very cold, so it will dry very, very slowly and gradually. It's potentially a bit too late to change to the dry tyres, but you never know. These guys towards the back may go for a gamble and see if it pays off. Difference is when it's when the track's drying, there's a lot less room or wriggle room in terms of gambles. Looks like Tuggy Bear's saying in the chat, come on Stealth Sheep. Stealth Sheep at the moment, Tuggy's dropping way off of Demobi. Demobi actually passed him a couple of laps ago, and seems to be running off for this one. Stealth Sheep though doing a good job of holding on to what will be second place once that Gottardo comes into the pits, and he seems to be maintaining the gap to Lightblade as well. So Stealth Sheep could be on for P2 here this evening. Looks like P1 is a bit beyond him at the moment though. Demobi doing a fantastic job in the net race lead. As I say, championship leader, has been dominant so far this season in the RRTCC, and he's going to extend the lead to Smithy in the console, with those guys both struggling in mid-pack here in this feature race. Let's have a look back through the pack, see what's going on. It looks like the console Lecky have stopped having their little battle. They're 2 seconds apart on the track. Bobby Dazzler maybe closing, no, he's not closing a gap really on them. It looks like Thorsten and Uniclock are going to go side by side. Thorsten's going to have to defend here. He's got that Red Man absolutely all over the back of him as they come through Burger Curve, and Uniclock having a little look there, but Thorsten not taking the bait. Keep sticking to his line there very, very nicely as they come out of Burger and now and up towards the Worth Bridge And it looks like Thorsten with the straight line speed definitely is more than a match for that McGann on a straight line, but it's in the corners. There's so much more grip and downforce in that Renault McGann. It's silly really how much grip that thing has in the corners, especially when you've got it set up nicely for these sort of tracks. But there we go. So Uniclark with a nice exit, but Thorsten absolutely runs off down the straights. That BMW power really is superior to the Renault. And again, demonstrated right there. Uniclark running probably a high downforce setup for this one with the rain in mind. Certainly, our man from Swindon, runner-up last season in the RTCC, is trying to hunt down Thorsten, but Thorsten having none of it, sticking to his to the task and doing a fantastic job here in the feature race. P5 in the BMW in a field full of McGanns. Hats off to him. Fair play. Thorsten Smith doing a hell of a job. That guitar dude still leads the race at the moment. He's got 9 seconds lead to Demobi at the minute. Still yet to come in for his mandatory pit stop. When he does, I'm expecting him to come out around Thorsten and Uniclark. So that guitar dude, I'm sure, will be battling for a top 5 finish here in the feature race. I think that possibly beyond that, maybe not possible, but you never know what can happen in the final few laps here. We're on lap 11 of 15. We've got just over 4 laps to go here in this feature race. And Demobi looks like he has got this one in the bag. He's pulling out the gap very gradually here to Stealth Sheep. I'm sure that Stealth Sheep will have something to say about that. He's not going to let this go lying down. But at the moment, it seems like he has no answer to our German driver. Demobi was 2 seconds quicker last time around as he exits the final turn now. That guitar dude's staying out here for at least another lap. He's got to pit within the next couple of laps. Otherwise, he will face disqualification from the classification of the feature race. At the moment, that guitar dude's doing a solid job. And as I said, we're expecting him to come out around 5th or 6th once he comes in for his mandatory stop. Thorsten still holding on here from Uniclark. It looks like Uniclark's got him on the exit of the corner. Can he hold it down the straight? It looks like Thorsten's got loose on the curbs coming out of the final corner. And it looks like Uniclark has got the position. So Uniclark up into P5. Thorsten still doing a good job in P6. When you remember, he's in the BMW in a field full of McGanns. That's no mean feat to finish in the top half of the field. So well done to Thorsten, currently P6, and you never know when that guitar dude comes into the pits, Thorsten could be top 5. Let's see what's going on here with Bobby Dazzler and Smithy as they come down the pit straight. It looks like Smithy's going to have to look to the inside. Bobby Dazzler not tempted by it at all, but as they come into turn 1, can Smithy be late on the brakes? Can he do anything to try and distract Bobby Dazzler? In the background there we can see Grandad Stee and Lionsfoot also very close on the road as well. We're going to stay with these guys though. Bobby Dazzler currently P9. Smithy's going to try and push him as much as he can, but Smithy, we know he's on the controller this evening, usually on a wheel, and that's going to hamper his pace and definitely the precision and smoothness of his steering. He's going to be very late on the brakes there into turn 2, and he's going to pull it off. What a move there from Smithy. Fantastic opportunism there. Saw the gap and went for it. Ayrton Senna would be very, very proud of that one. He was absolutely as late as you can get, and Bobby Dazzler left the door wide open. Good driving there, good awareness from Bobby Dazzler to see that coming. So Smithy up a position into P9. Grandad Stee looks like he's putting the gap here to Lionsfoot. Lionsfoot not able to stay with him at this point. But having said that though, last time around, not much to separate these guys at all. In fact, only a 1/10 of a second between them on the last time around. So definitely Lionsfoot more than a match for Grandad Stee. We'll have to keep an eye on these guys and see how the battle for P11 develops. In the meantime, that guitar dude has to pit either this time or the next. Otherwise, he will be disqualified from the standings of the feature race. And I'm just having a look down the timing screens. Uniclark and Thorsten are both lapping considerably faster than that guitar dude. So once that guitar dude comes in, he will emerge in P6 behind Thorsten. So Thorsten looks like he's set for a top 5 finish here, which, as I've said, being in the BMW in wet condition or in snowy conditions, even, is absolutely brilliant. So looks like Demobi has got a 7-second lead here. Well, 7-second net lead, should I say, here to Stealth Sheep. It could be a lead in a moment though, because he's closing right onto the back of that guitar dude. That guitar dude, if he wants to save the blushes of being passed by a car that's already been in the pits, he'll have to bring it in this time around, because it looks like Demobi's absolutely homing him in, and Demobi could pass him on the track here. Lap 13, 2 laps left to go in the feature race. Demobi taking a lot of curb there. I'm surprised. That's very brave from Demobi when you consider how much grip would have diminished in this stage of the race. The snow's been falling for some considerable time now, and that guitar dude is going to stay out for at least one more go here. So that guitar dude, well, I say at least, it is one more go, otherwise he gets disqualified. So he's got to pit this time around, that guitar dude. Lap 14 of the feature race. Demobi in hot pursuit, just 1.5 seconds separates these guys. I'm sure Demobi will want to get this move done on the track and do a bit of crowd pleasing here for our cameras here on YouTube, for Rubbings Racing's YouTube channel. Thank you to everybody for joining us live on the stream. Let us know what you think of Demobi's performance here this evening. Absolutely dominant in the feature race, in my opinion, and looks set to have a great chance of taking the championship, the RRTCC, next week at Zolder in Belgium. But he's pulling onto the back here of that guitar dude. There's not much at all between these guys now. As we come up towards Gersa, right in the slipstream here. Got to try and work out these points. So it looks like that guitar dude there gets a little bit loose through Gersa. That's allowed Demobi to take the position. That guitar dude obviously will be coming into the pits, and we're expecting that guitar dude to emerge in P6 just ahead of the console. But the console has been lapping faster than him in the recent laps, so could that be a potential battle that we might see raging into the final lap of this race? The Lecky and the console very, very close on the track, pardon me as well. So we're seeing the Lecky closing right onto the back here. It's going to be battle of the moderators once again here in the snow at the Red Bull Ring here in Austria. It looks like Alex last time around was 2 seconds slower than Lecky. So Lecky absolutely flying here in the latter stages of this race. Can Lecky put himself up into a 7th position here as we see the polystyrene block go absolutely flying, and his competitors will not thank him very much at all for taking out that marker. But at the moment here we've got the console being absolutely homed in now by our RRTCC coordinator. And in the meantime, let's see Tardio's into the pits. So Demobi will take the race lead here on the last lap. Stealth Sheep and Lightblade look set to complete the podium. Lightblade's closing in on Stealth Sheep. He was a second faster last time around. Let's keep an eye on that one. We'll keep half an eye and see how that's going on. Looks like that Tardio's coming out of the pit box now. Thorsten takes P5, and the console and Lecky are coming out the last turn. So can they? Looks like they're too far away. Looks like that Tardio pretty much safe for P6 here. In the background there you can see the console and Lecky coming down the pit straight up towards turn 1. So this is going to be a hell of a battle. We've got a few battles going on here. We're going to throw with our race leader though. Demobi has not put a foot wrong so far. Well, I say so far, this is the final half a lap. But in this feature race, Demobi has driven absolutely perfectly. Had a troublesome sprint race, ended up finishing mid-pack due to the rain falling or the snow falling at a very inconvenient time for him, and dropped a few positions. Had to change to the wet tyres on lap 7, I believe, of the sprint race in that 10-lap race. But here he comes, Demobi, has made up more than made up for the wheel disconnecting at the GT3 race, season opener back in January here at this track, and has driven a stellar race here in the feature. Let's hope the wheel doesn't disconnect coming through the final corner. Here he comes, our Bavarian driver, championship leader, could potentially be the champion next week. We'll have to wait and see. Join us at Zolder next week. But Demobi over the line to take the feature race here for round 5 of the RRTCC here at the Red Bull Ring. Stealth Sheep looks like he might be able to hold on from Lightblade to come out the final corner. It's going to be very, very close to drag to the line. It looks like Stealth Sheep just about holds on there from Lightblade for P2. Great driving there. Good battles there right at the very end of the race. Uni Clark's going to finish P4. Had a race by himself in that one. Thorsten is going to come home in P5. We said what a job from Thorsten here this evening. Disco Face says, why do people always quit? I don't know, Disco. It's against our rules, very much against the spirit of racing, but I'm sure people have reasons, and you got to respect that, but it's a shame. So, that guitar dude comes over in P6. Lecky has nabbed the console on the final lap. We missed it on the stream, but I want to say massive congrats to Lecky there for doing the console right at the end of the race. Console finishes P8. Big Al will be absolutely gutted to see that, but Bobby Dasner's going to come round in P9, just about holding on there from lines. But thank you everybody for watching live on YouTube. So join us for Thursday Night Lights from the Bray up in Scotland. That should be a fascinating race. We'll see you guys for that. Please join us this week we're on Thursday, Friday, Sunday. We'll see you guys in a bit, and peace.